You can see they're coming up through the back straight behind the pits. And then coming up to a very, almost like a mini Barcelona, a mini Circuit de Catalunya style layout here. We've got the left-hander coming up the hill, then around to the back end of the circuit. As you can see, located quite far away from most population centres, it really was a resort town, Okayama, and a very pleasant place to hold the race indeed. You can see some of the villas on the side of the track, and the grandstands lining the side of the road there. But so far it looks like it's going to be another battle between Saiful Arifin and Ilham Halabi. We'll see if they decide to actually go into qualifying. You can see a lot of cars are actually having rear end grip issues. See Wicket there sliding around again, and I do believe we're being joined by Chan Wei Han. Hi Wei Han.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and nice meeting you as well. I understand you did quite well during the previous broadcast, so we've decided to keep you on.
Thank you so much. It was Kyrul and Wonder Brother.
All right, that must have been an awesome time.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I understand also that not only will you be joining me in the commentary box today, but you're also taking over Paducah, who had some personal issues to attend. So you'll be acting as the steward as well for this evening?
I would believe so. So I'll try my best to balance that.
Thank you very much, Wehan, because it's just quite a task, but I'm sure they all behave like last time.
I'm sure they will.
It should be okay. And in any case, I do believe that Paducah will have the final say still as the chief steward of the series. So, and we also have quite a few other little helpers and judges of facts and little minions working in the background, both during the broadcast and after the race, that will assist us once we get into the post-race reviews. So,
that's great to hear, man. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So in the meantime, it looks like it's I like to say the usual suspects up front: Saiful Arifin and Ilham Halabi, first and second. Look at how close their quickest times are. 147.726 for Saiful Arifin and 147.727 for Ilham Halabi. So that's pretty close stuff coming into the qualifying session. We still have about 7 minutes to go, or 7 to 8 minutes to go, before the qualifying session begins. So these guys will now be going around the track. Some of them will be checking the fuel consumption and the tyre wear, so they're going on a longer run. And maybe some of the other guys will be trying to push hard and get their single lap pace down. It's going to be a little bit tricky, just as we saw at Tsukuba. It could be possible to finish the race without a pit stop, but you'd really have to conserve fuel. So we'll see how the strategies play out for this race. So we'll be starting qualifying at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. And it's a 15-minute qualifying session, am I right?
Yeah, Wehan, are these names, they should be quite familiar to you, right?
Oh yeah, some of them are. They are certainly familiar to me. I remember racing with them over the past few years, and also meeting these familiar faces in various race sessions that we do hold within the region.
Yeah, so that's awesome. You have some prior experience with these guys. I've been having a wonderful time learning about their quirks and foibles, but hopefully you'll be able to shed a little bit of light as to some of the guys, their racing histories, and also their driving styles.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we do have many fast drivers in the field. We've also got drivers with real-life racing backgrounds. I think that there were some of them who joined back on Friday night. And what's great is that you do kind of see the mix of talents from both real-world racing as well as virtual racing. It's very nice to see how these things play out here on iRacing.
Yeah, and it's also neat to see that it isn't such a one-sided affair where the sim racers are running away with it or the real-life racers running away with it. They're actually quite evenly matched, so that was a nice surprise to see. And also the exchange of information that's been going on the SRE WhatsApp group and in the Discord servers has been quite nice to see as well. So now we're tracking Freddie Young down the main straight there, 148.786. This is a new member of the URT team, I believe.
Yeah, another uncle.
Yep. So we're slowly getting the old school racers corralled into one place, so you know there's plenty of warning when they come up. I suspect there's similar things happening over at SimR with Asman's guys. But as far as I know, URT, I believe, is the one team that has a full field of real-world racing drivers. So we've got Ezan Lei, we've got Freddie, we've got Dominic Ang is in the team as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alongside with Ruben Wong. So that's a 4-car team from URT. There's been a few other teams, as I understand, that have gained some extra support, both in the driver ranks and in a little bit of some sponsorship deals. We also have some guys who are coming out and sort of legitimizing themselves as a team. Autohouse FCR have now got their own Facebook page, so that's fantastic news. You guys should go down there and hit the like button, follow them, and do all that good stuff. Support some of the local sim racing teams. There you can see there Ahmad Faridian. Oof, getting real close to Ilham Halabi there. It's a good thing we're in practice here. It's not so much whether you can do it or not, it's more a case of do you want to do it or not. Whereas when you come to the qualifying and the race session, that's when you've got to put the serious hat on and really start pushing for it. So those guys, I believe, also a whole crew of drivers with some real life experience. Ahmad Faridian, Jasrin Jali there. That MSF liveried, MSF supported car.
Yeah, another team we have is Pete Evan.
Yep, Mohammed Khalif has been doing quite well. In fact, now he's in the top 10, so that's a big improvement for him over the previous round in terms of practice times at least.
Wehan, do you know any guys from Pete Evan?
I'm not exactly familiar, unfortunately. I'm afraid. I don't think so. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe they're more of a Assetto Corsa based team. We also have Paduan, the Paduan team, looking awesome on the side there with that fantastic livery. I must say, our men at Pico Media have been doing a fantastic job with all the liveries on the cars. All the teams have their identities sorted out pretty well by now. Just a few drivers out there. Ilham Halabi still being a lone wolf out at the front. Staff Arifin is also a member of team. There's Kalvinder Singh. He is, I believe he's a member of. Is he a member of a team, or is he still a privateer?
He's a team of his own, I think. Yeah. He's just registered under Solo.
All right, so he's a privateer. We still have some privateers out there, but even the privateers have done a real good job with the preparation and everything. I know there've been a lot of testing for some of the quick guys throughout the week.
Oh, Rap Garage has done a remake of their liveries.
Yeah, it looks really good. So for those of you not in the know, Rab, Pro Garage, another real life race team who've brought themselves into the sim racing for Shami Aizan, doing good work for them. He's currently down in 16th, but I know his style will be trying to run the car sort of for long stints to try and get the wear rates and the fueling just right.
His teammate Sharil Norafuddin.
Yep, Sharil Norafuddin. If you guys remember Michael Hafiz, who sometimes commentates with us as well. This is his rival, so to speak, in the K-car world. Big time MSF driver as well. So yet another real-life driver taking the plunge into sim racing.
Hey, they've got a new third driver, but I'm not seeing him in here. I don't want to say his name out loud yet. It's kind of a reveal, but it's not in the list. I think he didn't manage to come in yet.
Ooh.
Can you do you know who's the third one?
I myself have been kept out of the loop as well, so I was sort of waiting with bated breath there.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting ready for qualifying. Let me get the full screen up.
Alrighty, so now we're going to go into qualifying. It's 15-minute qualifying session, so a real mad dash to get out the pits. You only really have about 3 or 4 good laps ahead of you, and it's a open pit lane, so it's not a single car qualifying session. You're going to have to deal with traffic as well, and sort of attempt to make it a little bit more realistic to real world racing. So some of the other guys from the real world of motorsports have a bit of experience in traffic during qualifying sessions. The real art here is not only trying to nail that perfect lap time, but also to try and get the right gap in the traffic, so you don't end up having your lap ruined by a driver driving slowly into the pits ahead of you, or a driver on his out lap. So you see a lot of drivers will go out and try and get as quick a lap time as they can right off the bat. This is a strategy known as banker laps, so they'll try and get at least one time that they can get onto the grid with. Then they might come in for the pits, get a new set of tires, have a good think about how to best improve on the lap time, and then they'll head out again. Some of the other guys will treat it almost like a practice session. They'll just go out there and circulate for as long as they can, trying to improve their lap time every time. And also you have some of the guys who like to use the Charles Leclerc strategy of coming out right at the end. There we see Dominic Ang, who did some fantastic work driving for the SRE team. We had 2 SRE team cars, Team A and Team B. And I believe Dominic was in Team A. It was his first Le Mans 24-hour race in the sim racing world. So that's fantastic stuff that we're bringing more and more people into the big events as well, not just to our own little shindigs here. And we'll have to say a very good job to all the SRE members who competed in the 24-hour Le Mans. I believe Taichi and Wicket managed to finish 15th in their class, in their split. And I think all the rest of the teams were also in the top 20. So I believe we had SimR Garage and a couple of other drivers who've joined in and out of the various teams there. But absolutely brilliant result in the top half of the field for all 3 splits. So that's a fantastic sign of the developing ability of these sim racers. So far on provisional pole we have Amanur Azam with a 152.6. He will want to improve on that, I'm sure. A lot of these guys might be taking an extra warm-up lap as well. That's probably why he's a little bit slow there. We're riding on board here with Tukuezan. We have one of the outer house cars spun off on the side of the road there. He'll want to get the car running as soon as possible. Wicket coming in at the 4th place. Time good enough for 4th place so far. Kelvinder Singh, who's had some monster stints in the Le Mans race, which finished at 9 a.m. earlier today, so he'll be perhaps feeling a little bit tired. But it hasn't really affected his driving so far. It looks to be going quite well indeed. Really throwing that little MX5 around. Now coming into the paddock section here. You can see the paddock is just on the right. Coming into the braking zone here for this sort of faux Circuit de Catalunya section. No, I can't quite remember where all the names of the corners are, but according to the Wikipedia article, there were some pretty entertaining ones. Basically, the expats that bought a garage or a villa around here back in its TI Aida days had corners named after them, which was a very quaint little practice that they sort of copied from European racetracks. So far we have Nigel Chua, who's now gone into the lead with a 148.417, followed by Jizrin with a 148.7. Ezan has also done a 148.7 to Guezan there in the URT car. And we so far have 10 cars. No, I do apologize, sorry, 8 cars in the 148 brackets. We'll see if anybody can get the car into the 147s. It's not just a case of being able to do the lap times, but also finding the slot in the traffic to try and get themselves into that position to get that lap time. So we've got another 10 minutes to go. Still early days for quite a lot of the quick drivers. You can see a lot of guys spinning out there. The trouble with the curbs around the exit here is that it's very easy to get the car a little bit sideways on exit, especially with these MX5 cars. They're a little bit tail happy on the base setup. And once you get the car onto the exit curbs, a little bit crossed up, it's not that far away from dropping a wheel in the dirt and really getting the car to spin. Now we track Shami Aizan, who is in 4th position. There, as you can see, he was really trying to get his race pace down during practice, so he's sort of hiding a little bit his true pace, but Shami Aizan is now in 4th. Dominic Ang Kahneman is in 25th. I had to take a double take there. Car number 25 is in 25th. I could have sworn I'd read that wrong, but there you go. Dominic Ang in 25th position. I know he can do a lot better. Yeah. So he has managed to get himself into 5th position, just ahead of his teammate Ruben Wong. And in the meantime, we have Ezan there, not able to improve on his lap time there with a 148.973, but he's still pushing as hard as he can. The URT Tedco cars running 5th, 6th and 7th positions. Meanwhile, we have Michael Hafiz, normally commentating during the Adrenaline Impact races. This time he's back behind the wheel of a Toyota Motorsports car. He's alongside Ajib in that team, and I believe was it Jasri Junos as well? Afif, sorry, I do apologize. So that's Taichi alongside with Ajib and Michael.
Okay, this is his teammate, Zafri.
Yes, Muhammad Zafri, aka Ajib. Definitely a very, very quick sim racer. He's one of the guys that is using VR, so we had some fantastic shots of him going rallying and racing using VR equipment, which was absolutely fantastic watching during the early days of this Adrenaline Impact sim racing coverage.
I don't think Afif is online. Do you see his name?
I will try to track down if we have the 3rd member of Toyota Motorsports.
Yeah, he's not around.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
I wouldn't blame him because
some Android King.
Yep. So that's Afisul Jai, aka Jai Bluebird, the drift driver, who's coming into sim racing there. He's doing quite well for himself. Obviously has quite a bit of experience in rear-wheel drive cars, so we'll see him improve, I'm sure. I see Kelvin T there's just slotted right behind him. So yeah, car number 9, Afizul Jai, trying to find his way through the traffic and get as good a qualifying session as he can. So we've only got 6 minutes left. This is when all the guys will have to try and get out there and push as hard as they can. Rashid Rydell there, a very experienced racer. He'll be trying to improve on that 1:59. I'm sure he can do it. He'll be able to get perhaps even past the 1:50 barrier and get the times pretty low for the SSAD team. So this team is also affiliated with the Android King one, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So sort of a double entry.
And Adi is his son.
Yep, Adi Rahimi Rashid, carrying on the family legacy of being very, very quick indeed. So SSAD, for those of you not in the know, they are an advanced driver training and race car driving school. So perhaps if you guys want to learn how to bring your real life driving game to the next level, do head over and check them out. Do some quite cool stuff around there. 1:48.987. It's almost ridiculous to see the times right now. Nigel Chua has managed to get into the 1:47s, 1:47.9. It's about 5 minutes to go, 4.5 minutes to go, and it's the Speed Tavern car of Nigel Chua, 1:47.9. Saiful Rifin has managed a 1:48.022, so it looks like Nigel is the only one in the 1:47s at the moment. But from then on down, we have positions 2 all the way down to position 16s. They're all in the 1:48 bracket. Very, very close indeed. And we still have quite a few of the guys at the 1:49 ones that might be able to break into. Kelvinder has managed to get in as well. That brings the total number of 1:48s up by 1. Wicket has improved his time as well. Nigel Chua and Saiful Rifin are on an out lap right now, so this is going to get really interesting near the end. I'm sure we will see. I'm not too sure if Ilham Halabi is going to try what he did the last time. As we see there, Faisal Alang, another newcomer. He's a stunt driver extraordinaire and a very, very good rally driver. In fact, the last rally event we've had here, the Rally Challenge, held during the races of Malaysia, he managed to win that rally in a 2-wheel drive vehicle. So a lot of talent behind the wheel there. But taking his first tentative steps into sim racing, we're going to see him improve a lot, I am sure. We see Ilham's coming up onto the track, Saiful Rifin's coming up onto the track, and Nigel Chua, I believe he is on the track right now. So we've got virtually all the top runners now. Even Ahmad Farid Yam also out on track there. It's going to be a battle in the last dying minutes for qualifying. Ilham Hlabi very, very quick around here. We'll see if he does the same thing he does in the previous round. In round 1, a couple of the really quick guys decided to really challenge themselves and start from the back of the grid during some of the practice races. So it remains to be seen if they're going to do it here. But there we have Ilham Halabi. He's gone out. He'll be starting his lap fairly shortly. In the meanwhile, I think Saiful Rifin has already done a 1:51.9, so he'll be doing 2 laps to try and warm the tyres up and give the car the best possible chance to get that lap time. It's going to go down to the wire. There's a car spinning out around there. There's only 2 minutes to go, and the lap time is almost 2 minutes, so Saiful Rifin will basically be trying to push the car as hard as he can to try and finish the lap. We see Freddie there at the back, Freddie Yang, trying to follow on the coattails of Saiful Rifin to try and learn some secrets from him and try and get his lap time up as well. So far it's still a 1:47.9, the provisional pole time for Nigel Chua. He manages to get a 1:50.2. He's going to have to try and push now to try and improve that lap time. Amanur Azam is also cycling around the track. Calvin Ha, meantime, in that very psychedelic looking car there. 778 Auto. I believe that's a Hong Kong team that Calvin Ha is associated with. So it's nice to see them bring a car into the Adrenaline Pack iRacing Malaysia Championship. Calvin Ha himself a Malaysian with a lot of experience working in touring car racing here in Malaysia, so he perhaps will have some tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure. He's just done a 150.957. You see Michael there going to the pits, Donza going to the pits, Calvinder has pitted, Shamir has pitted. The top four are still out there trying to improve their lap times. The first strike, Aminur Azam is a 148.160. Saifur Rifin has responded with a 148.147. Both times not good enough to improve their positions. Ilham Hlabi is going to come across the line. Will he be able to do it? He's gone purple in the first sector. He's slowing down. I believe he's just slowed down to get himself away from the front of the field.
Intention. We see Ilham. He's kind of a challenge. Challenge myself guy. He always start midfield or the back.
I think he's going to enjoy overtaking all the cars in front of him instead of starting up front, because I think quite obviously his practice lap time was much faster than his 148.4.
Yeah, he was on pace to perhaps get a 147 lap time, but he backed right off and weaved at the start-finish straight. I do have to say, if nothing else, Ilham Hlabi is not only quick but very, very entertaining indeed. So we'll see some very entertaining driving from him, I am sure. Ruben Wong is pushing as hard as he can to try and get that Mazda MX5 further up the field. It's now in 12th position. He'll want to join his teammates further up the order. Leave his teammates and go further up the order. You'll see him. His best time is a 148.6. And he's just about given up. He's gone into the pits there. Meanwhile, we have some of our fans out there. Ahmad Azizul bin Jafar, Speed Tavern for life. Abdullah Arif Badwan, SRC for life. Tukishad saying, which team is first in the championship at this point? I don't have the thing up right now on my phone.
It's Auto House.
Outer House.
Yeah.
So there we go. So FCR Outer House is first in the championship at this point. Firdaus Yaya, Speed Tavern, a lot of Speed Tavern fans out there right now. Ahmed Azizul, yes, Nigel. Although it's a little bit too late. Saifur Rifin has gotten the pole by 0.05 of a second. 147.911 has played 147.969. Nigel Chua had that pole time for the longest possible time. Meanwhile, Firdaus Yaya, Gaban number 6. Ahmad Azizul, way to go Gaban, and Shami Azri, good luck all. So a mix of some familiar sim racers and some of the fans out there. Do leave a comment down below and we'll try and get to them during the quieter portions of the race. Of course, the last time I said that, there was no quiet portion of the race.
Okay, Weihan will be taking his task of stewardship for the race start, so he will be monitoring all the activities. Can you guys read the grid?
Alright, so in the meantime, Saifur Arifin is in first position in the 998 car. Nigel Chua is second for Speed Tavern. Aman Razam is third for the Outer House FCR team. Alongside him is his teammate Amir Faridian. In fifth position, Kelvinder Singh is in the KSS Gaming car, followed by Muhammad Khalif from Speed Tavern, Wicked Low from SSAD Go Racing, Ilham Halabi, the fastest of the privateers, so to speak, although Kelvinder Singh is the only member of KSS Gaming. Dominic Ang is also a member of URT. He's the quickest URT driver, I believe. Jazrin Jali is a member of Outer House FCR. And in 11th position, Shami Aizan, Rab Pro Drag Garage, and Ruben Wong, another member of the URT, Uncle Racing Team, I believe it means. And further down the field, we have Adi, Ezan, Colin, Hazim, Jai, Alvarez, Faiz, Taufik, Aslan, Azril, Zikri, Sopian, and Adrian. So now we're lined up on the start of the grid. We'll be getting ready to head into first turn as soon as all the cars have gridded up. You can see a fantastic line of MX5s there. Now we're going to get the 5 red lights. They'll come on one by one, and when the 5th light comes on, we'll be waiting. And it's go! Cypher Riffin makes a fantastic start there. He's really rocketed off into the lead. Nigel Chua has managed to lose a place to Norazam. Kelvinda has managed to make a fantastic start, but he's now stuck in the outside lane there. We've got cars going 5 wide, 6 wide. This cannot be. Will they be able to get through the first corner safely? It looks like everyone has managed to escape the first corner despite coming into it 5, 6 wide. That's absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, Nigel Chua has gone from 2nd to 4th position in the grid. Amir Farid-Yam and Aman Razam has managed to get past, but Saiful Arifin has managed to really launch the car coming off the grid there. So we have the Saiful Arifin being chased down by 2 outer house cars. And meanwhile, we have an accident up at the top of the course there by the hairpin. So we've got the cars diving into the second hairpin and into the paddock section there. We've got cars running 2, 3 wide. Shami Aizan being bullied out the way there. And then we've got the battle between the SSAD, Rab Garage and the privateer cars. Shami Aizan there really pushing hard to try and get further up into the top 10. He's now in 10th position, and he has Ilham Halabi. Ilham Halabi has managed to lose a couple of places coming into the first lap and into the start. He started in 8th. He's now dropped down to 10th position, or actually even further. He's down in 12th position right now. So his fight back starts now. Meanwhile, Amir Faridyan, he is the 3rd outer house car. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can. I do apologise, his 2nd outer house car. Whereas we see all the cars in the pits. Azman is in the pits, Michael is in the pits, and Calvin Ha is also in the pits. So we had 3 cars involved in that incident at the top of the hill. In the meantime, Saifur Arifin is being chased by Norazam Farid. Nigel is a little bit further behind. He's battling, fighting amongst with Kelvinda and Khalif. Woykitlo is in 7th position. Shamia Aizan is in 8th, Ilham Halabi in 9th position. He's managed to overtake Ruben Wong in 10th. It's action all up and down the field here. This track really does promote lots of overtaking. But in the meantime, the top 3 positions are staying relatively equal, 7/10 of a second between each car there. They're still in the danger zone. Meanwhile, we're going to have a look at some of the incidents further down the field there, and it looks like, one of the Pad 1 cars had hit Michael Hafiz, and Calvin Hart got involved in that. A lot of cars got involved there in turn 2. It looked like one of the cars got sideways, and there were just too many cars following behind for Michael to try and avoid him, and that's very, very unfortunate for Michael. He had to skip the first round due to survey issues, and now it looks like he's going to be stuck in the pits for the second round. So tough luck for him, and tough luck for the other guys who were involved in that incident. Saifur Ifin, however, is still in the lead, followed by Norazam and Farid, with Nigel Chua and Kelvinda Singh there being hounded by Wicket Low. This is a real tight battle here for 5th, 6th and 7th. In fact, there's a train forming behind Kelvinda with Wicket, Khalif, Shamir, Ilham and so that's a 5-car train going down the main straight there, all within overtaking position of each other. They're going to be really careful if they do try to go for a move, because even though they're very close to each other, they might not be able to find the space coming into turn 1. And there was the site of the incident between turns 1 and 2, which ended up with Michael on his roof. We're sure we're going to have a review of that later on, but unfortunately it just looks like too many cars trying to drive in too small a space. In the meantime, we'll see Freddie Ang battling. He's being boxed in there by the 2 Pad 1 cars, and it looks like one of the cars in front had to stop, check up, and he got hit by the number 18 car as well. So that's tough luck for Freddie Young. These cars are surprisingly quite... and there's a big incident behind there as well. So there's been a fairly rough, fairly hectic first couple of laps there. A lot of cars driving very close to each other. Asman Abdullah there, another one who was caught up. Big accident that's what happened to the 778 car of Calvin Ha. It just looked like they were trying to run 5 cars where 5 cars didn't fit, and unfortunately Azman Abdullah is stuck with trying to drive a wreckage back to the pits, and Calvin Ha will have to take a tow from that rollover. It's action all up and down the field right now, but Wicket Low at the back of that little train, it's broken up a little bit with Nigel Chua there in 4th position. But looks like the front of the field is beginning to settle down. Wicket Low try to stay on the back of Kevin Singh. He'll be buoyed by his success at Le Mans. Absolutely fantastic job that he did, trying to get that big BMW home in a good position. In the meantime, we have quite a battle brewing down in the lower orders as well, between Ruben, Faiz, Dominic, Azrael, Jezrin, Zikri, Adrian and Farisal. They are still driving around like it's a NASCAR race. This is absolutely fantastic, driving wheel to wheel all the way around the lap. You see some damage there from one of the FCR cars. That's going to be a little bit frustrating. As Jezrin Jali in the number 18 car, he's trying to get onto the back of Azrael's tail. Dominic's a little bit further on. He's been going, they're going 3 wide through turn 3. This is going to be very, very tricky stuff indeed. Will they be able to keep the cars in a straight line unlike the first lap? And yes, they managed to do so. There's a lot of drafting happening here down the back straight, which is the longest straight on the track. Now coming into the paddock complex there, cars are still running side by side. Cars are chopping and changing around there. It looks like Javier Alvarez there trying his hardest to defend from Azrael behind him, and also trying to look for an opportunity to overtake Dominic Ang ahead of him. Dominic Ang running in tandem with Ruben Wong. Meanwhile, Shami Aizan is getting closer and closer to Colin. So Shami and Colin are locked in battle as well. Now this is going to be a case where he's going to really push as hard as he can. Looks like Teguizan is getting the draft to go past the 916 car. Maito Javier is managing to keep the car on the very left-hand side of the track to let all the cars go through there, which is a very good sportsmanship move. Meanwhile, Ruben Wong is fighting it out with Dominic Ang. They're going to have to be really careful. They don't want to take each other out. They're trying to work as a team right now, trying to work as an aerodynamic unit down the straights. They'll be chasing each other, trying to run in a train, trying to improve their positions there, but it looks like Dominic has quite a bit of damage in the back of the car. Meanwhile, Alvarez, it looks like he's still trying to find a way past Dominic, and he's got to watch out for Azrael Nazli behind him as well, who's also trying to find a way past. This is going to get into a real tricky braking situation. We'll see who is going to make the first move coming into the top hairpin. It looks like nobody's going to make the move there, but Ruben Wong tried to defend and he got tagged there by Javier. So that's 2 spinners out there, and it's going to be very difficult for Javier to try and get out of that situation. That's a very tricky incident indeed. Meanwhile, we already have lap traffic, all the cars which were damaged in the previous, in the first few laps. We're now into lap 5 of the race. 45-minute race there. We are almost at the 35-minute mark. Meanwhile, Dominic Ang there, running away with it. You can see Shami Aizan getting the car a little bit wide. He gets the car on the gravel, just cuts across the car in front of him, and spins out there. So now he's in a really tricky situation, trying to get the car back, pointing in the straight line, and to try and get back on the track properly. So we seem to have quite a few issues with re-entry onto the track there, which is a little bit frightening. So how was the start for you, Wehan?
It would appear that quite a lot of there have been quite a few incidents. I've just been trying to keep up with each incident, although it wasn't necessarily like a one massive incident. It was just perhaps a combination of a couple of incidents involving a handful of drivers each time. But I guess those incidents they did die down within the first couple of laps, and the field is more or less more organized at this point.
Yeah, it was quite surprising to see that they seemed to have gotten through the first corner, and somehow we managed to end up with the car upside down at the second corner at the start, which was very interesting. But we've also seen perhaps the drivers pushing a little bit too hard at the early stages of the race.
There might have been so, because we've got so many cars within one place. It is easy to trip over yourself, especially over at the first couple of corners. And I think it was a matter of each driver. They've managed to figure their way out of the mess that was the first lap. And I think most of the drivers which are up front, which are running on the field now, they have probably found their paces.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty frightening through the first couple of laps when we were running 5 wide down the back straight there. That was some pretty accurate driving to get through most of it, but there was another incident up at the top of the circuit as well, which I think was also caused by too many cars coming into too small a space, I believe. So apart from that, there's no other incidents to report so far?
Not exactly that many incidents. If I have a look at the records, I think if we can go by the people who've gone into the pits, probably due to incidents, I would imagine that perhaps half of the field or almost half of the field have probably made the stop into the pits, but perhaps due to fast repair, they were able to get their cars back up and running.
Right. So far, luckily the top half of the group here managed to get away. It looks like Nigel is going further and further down the field, although he is managing to start battling up again. I spoke too soon there. Commentators curse again. Nigel Chua, I was just about to say he was actually starting to recover from that bad start, and he just got off the track there. I think he might have been pushing too hard as well. Meanwhile, Dominic Ang, perhaps the luckiest man out of that incident, the last incident we had, which was down in this section. And it's been a very, very hectic race, I must say. He's now trying to chase down Jai Bluebird, as he's known. Some very interesting racing lines being taken through here. There's almost sort of a variety of lines to take through that corner, and as a driver you have to really look out for that. But it looks to be all action all the way up and down the field here, and that's some pretty entertaining stuff for the first 8 laps or so of the race, but it's now starting to calm down a little bit. We have Saiful Arifin, Farid, Jan, Norazam, Kelvinda, Ilham, Wikit, Khalif, Nigel Chua, Tikuezan and Colin in the top 10 positions. Meanwhile, Mohammad Zafri is the highest Todak car in the race. Todak being very fantastic, being very gracious to sponsor the broadcast of this series, so a special thanks to them. Mohammad Zafri in the 555 car. He is now trying to chase down Jazri, and we have a back marker there as well. I believe that might be Jai. Oh, that's Jazri.
They are all fighting for position.
So we have a 3-way fight for 27th position. It looks like Mohammad Zafri has the pace advantage, but trying to overtake these 2 cars who are also battling with each other is going to be very difficult indeed. So he's really got to be very, very careful and perhaps try and pick them off one by one, going up through the field here. Being very careful to try and pick his place to overtake, but he spots a mistake from the car ahead, and Zafri manages to put Nizam a position back. But has that cost him enough, any sort of speed coming up onto the back straight here? We've seen some absolutely wild driving and drafting coming down here. Will he be able to get past Jasri here? It looks like he's going to have a look. Will he be able to get it? Yes. Looks like Jasri helped him out a little bit there, making sure that there was enough space for the 2 cars to go through safely. And Zafri makes up another position. That is 2 overtakes in 1 lap. And now he's going to have his sights set on the car ahead. Meanwhile, Shama Aizan is now chasing Adrian for all his worth. There's another very, very tight battle, the two Padawan cars and Shama Aizan coming into the braking zone there. It looks like Faiz has moved aside there. It looks like they didn't really want to get into the way too much. But Adrian's up ahead, and it looks like Sami Aizan will try and make that overtaking move at the top straight work again. It looks to be very good. It's downhill, and it looks to be the perfect place for a drafting maneuver to try and take place. But now he is in a Rab Garage meet in a Padawan sandwich. And he's going to try and push his way further forwards. It looks like he's close enough to try and get a toe, but Adrian's wise to it. He's trying to break the toe coming into the bottom hairpin here, and he tries to make it work around the outside. Will he manage to make it work? They're still side by side, but Shama Aizan just doesn't quite manage to get enough speed to make that move work. Adrian manages to get that switchback working in his favour. In the meanwhile, Ilham Halabi is now up into 5th position. He dropped down quite a few places, and now he's gaining them up again. He's putting a lot of pressure on Kelvinder Singh. Kelvin is really going to have to watch his mirrors here. Will he try and fight back? Ilham Halabi is coming in on the inside. They'll now go side by side into the first corner. Will Ilham make it? It looks like he's got the position on track, and he manages to make that overtaking maneuver work. But Ilham Halabi is definitely not making it easy for Kelvin, and Kelvin is definitely not making it easy for Ilham Halabi. But good clean racing and good clean overtake there. Now Kelvinder will be trying to hang on the coattails of Ilham Halabi as he fights up through the field. He is 3.5 seconds behind 3rd place in lap 10 of the race there. 17 minutes gone there of a 45-minute race. And now we're going to see Kelvinder Singh and Ilham Halabi go into this drafting match. They're so close, they're side by side there. Only 1/10 of a second, less than a blink of an eye, separates the two of them. And Kelvinder's got to really worry, because not only has he let Ilham pass, but Wicket is right behind. Wicket low, really also trying to look for a way past these guys. And it looks like if Kelvinder isn't careful, he might have to give up another position, but I know Kelvin will not make it easy for Wicket low. Two very, very experienced sim racers here, really duking it out, trying to push the cars as hard as they can. Meanwhile, we have Muhammad Khalif trying to chase down Tukuezan, Mr. 10 himself. And it looks like if Khalif can get a good run through the final corner, he might be able to make the overtake work down the main pit straights. It looks like Tukuezan is using a much more aggressive racing line through the final corner there, but Khalif is going to try and follow Ezan's tail as much as possible to try and get any sort of drafting effect. It looks like they're only going to hold position, but it looks like Khalif is much, much better on the brakes than Ezan. Perhaps Tukuezan has overheated his front tyres a little bit. Very experienced racer though, I'm sure he can recover from that slight mistake, but he won't be able to recover from that too often if he does that. He did very well to try and keep the car in a straight line. In the meantime, Colin Chia is now on the tail of Taufik in the Padawan car, trying his hardest to get past as well. Will he be able to make another drafting maneuver down the back straight there? These cars don't have DRS, but what they do have are really slick, streamlined bodies and a exposed roll cage section, which tends to make the wake sort of paradoxically rather clean and rather large at the same time. So as you can see there, Jezrin Jali has got into a bit of a tangle there. Car number 81, it looks like he got into the inside of the of the Android King car there. So I don't know who that was with. I believe it might have been Aslan, I guess.
Afisul Jai.
Afisul Jai. So that was Jezrin Jali and Afisul Jai coming together. Judge Jelly perhaps had a little bit too much speed coming into the corner, trying to overtake it, and misjudged it slightly there. Faiz Aslan right now, these two Pad 1 cars have been staying together all throughout the race so far. 12 laps, 20 minutes. So we have about
25.
25 minutes to go. Do apologise, I managed to mute my mic there for a second.
Weihan, are you doing okay?
Yeah, look, I'm trying to I do find that there have still been some incidents happening sporadically, but none so major, so to speak. None that will kind of debilitate the whole of the field. So yet to dish out any yellow flags, because I think it's always better if a competition can still unfold by itself, as opposed to having to compact the field again once the yellow flag comes out. So at the rate that this is going, I think we might see a little bit of fall off if such competition would kind of continue on. We might see, I guess, a couple more drivers who might be a little bit more unfortunate if they come into incidents. But otherwise, I think the state of the competition is still unfolding quite fairly.
Yeah, I think so far it's a bit in control, right?
Yeah.
So we hope for the best. Nothing more major happening in the next 25 minutes.
Sure, I think from this point on, as the rest of the field has begun to stretch the legs much further out wide, much further out. Sorry. I think this is where we would see less incidents happening, perhaps in comparison to the first couple of laps.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps it wouldn't be the wisest idea to try and bunch the field up, because the field is still quite close together and it looks like they've sort of gotten themselves into a rhythm quite well. So perhaps the final 25 minutes of the race would be a little bit kinder to our steward. It's very unfortunate that the one-time Pad 1 wasn't here, that you guys decided to go and bully our steward, so it's not fair. We'll let our replacement steward come into the room afterwards and give you guys a stern talking to, because it was brilliant racing down at Tsukuba with very little incidents, and it was a little bit surprising, although to be fair, it is Mazda MX5s. They do tend to get together, they do tend to race closely, so we do have to expect occasionally some incidents. But so hopefully your job will be a little bit easier as time goes past. And in the meantime, we have Saiful Arifin battling out with Ahmed Faridyan at the front of the field there. Only a couple of tenths between the two of them. They've been chopping and changing the lead all throughout the race there. It's a fantastic battle. It looks like this is going to be a battle all the way to the end. Saiful Arifin really pushing the car hard now. He's lost the place to Ahmed Faridyan, who is very good, had a very good start at the beginning of the race, and he's just been hunting Saiful Arifin down all throughout the race there. Saiful Arifin had his predictions earlier today, and he said that he might be in the midfield, and I think he might be very happy that his prediction is gone very, very wrong indeed. In the meantime, the other FCR car has his hands full, because Ilham Halabi has managed to get past Kelvinder and managed to bridge the gap to Norazam. So now they're going down the main straight there, side by side. It looks like Ilham Halabi won't be able to make the overtaking maneuver work, and Norazam managed to defend quite well through there, but it looks like he's lost too much time through there. Ilham decides to not go too wide through here. It's going to be very difficult if you try and overtake around the outside through these two corners. Now through the S's and up into the top chicane there, this little carousel type style chicane, hairpin rather. And Ilham Halabi still on the bike. It looks like he'll be able to try and draft down the straight. Norazam has pulled aside to try and break the toe. It looks like Ilham's still going to hold his line, and Norazam's going to defend coming into the paddock section. Again, Ilham just making sure he's filling Norazam's mirrors up as much as possible, letting him know that He's got a car behind him, piling on the pressure. Meanwhile, Khalif and Ezan still fighting it out. Mohamed Khalif, very experienced in sim racing and battling it out. These two drivers will be quite happy to have a top 10 position, but I'm pretty sure they'll be quite happy. They'll be even more happy to try and get into the top 8. Ezan there, really running wide on a couple of corners. Khalif piling on the pressure, and it looks like Ezan is losing quite a bit of time through the final section there. Very tight, twisty section, and it looks like low speed stability is currently Ezan's problem at the moment. So Khalif might be able to gain a position through there. Meanwhile, Jasri Junos is trying to chase down Azrael Nazli in the other Android King car. Azrael Nazli in the SSTD car there, so they'll both be pushing quite hard indeed, even though it's for 25th position. Trust us, the guys at the back of the field are pushing just as hard as the guys at the front. Farza Akmal in the, I believe it's a privateer car number 15 in that launch livery, which actually still looks quite nice. He's trying to chase down Azam. So it's a battle between Farizal and Azam for 28th position. Again, you have to try and get the car working through the final few corners in order to get close enough. In 31st position, Rashid Rydell is trying to get past Andre Ambadar, who got caught up in that unfortunate incident right at this corner here, coming into the paddock section. And in the meantime, Javier Alvarez cruising around in 37th. He was also involved in the battle earlier on in the race. Now he's got Aslan ahead of him, and unfortunately he's dropped 19 places. He was doing very well at the start of the race. He was in the top 10, battling it out in that 5 wide crowd going through the top straight for the first 2 laps, but unfortunately he got caught out along with quite a few other drivers as well. In the meantime, Nigel Chua is in 7th position. He's now trying to mount a bit of a recovery drive. Now he was on pole position for the longest time, but unfortunately he had to drop back a little bit and the Speed Tavern car, and now he's behind Wicket Low, but he is close enough to try and do something through here. Wicket is at the tail of a whole list of cars there. Ilham's managed to get past Norazam, and between Ilham, Norazam, Kalvinder, Wicket and Nigel, that's a whole train of cars that are getting into the DRS zone at the top of the track here. Fantastic place to try and do some drafting going down the hill. Car speed, pickup speed, quite a lot quicker through here. It looks like they're nose to tail. These 4 cars, one of them will have to strike, and it looks like Ilham will have to defend. And it looks to me that Nigel Chua has not been able to do anything about it, but Kalvinder Singh tries to go around the outside. Meanwhile, Mohamed Khalif goes into the inside, coming into the same section there, manages to overtake the Ezan, Tiku Ezan's car, the URT Tedco car, but it's still a big battle between these 2 drivers. They're pushing as hard as they can. Ezan will not want to let Khalif run away with it. So you can see the counter-attack coming now. He's trying to brake later, trying to carry more speed through the corner than Khalif. Now that he has a target up ahead, he can try and drive the car based off the car in front, although he can't do that too much, because otherwise you get into this sort of tunnel vision where you might end up at the back of the other guy. So now we're heading into the pit stops. Lap 17, 29 minutes gone out of a 45-minute race. About 15 minutes left on the clock. And Ilham Halabi is the first to come into the pits. He's decided to not try and run the car all the way to the end. It'd be interesting to see if anybody is trying to cruise and make the fuel strategy work without a pit stop. In the meantime, Saifur Arifin is still battling for the lead with Amir Faridyan piling on the pressure coming into the top straight. Will this be an overtaking maneuver? Will this be a change of lead? Farid tries the old bulking maneuver. coming out of the corner, making sure that Safarifin has to sort of go really wide. But now he's picking up a side draft coming into the chicane, into the hairpin, into the back of the pit section. And it looks like Safarifin will try to go around the outside. I mean, Faridian is not going to make it easy. Between Farid and Shaiful, Shaiful is in the inside. He takes the lead now from Farid. But Farid is still got the speed. He's going to go into the inside. Will he be able to make it for the next corner? Going underneath the bridge. Is he close enough? It looks like Safarifin got a better drive out of the corner, but Amir Faridian is close enough to try and attack and go into the inside, and now Farid is in the lead. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. A titanic battle between the first two cars up at the head of the field. But now Safarifin will be trying to look for a weakness now in Farid's driving. He thinks he might see it, but he's close enough here as well to try and get a draft down the main straight and try to get into the first corner first. Farid covers off the drafting attempt and gets Safarifin into the outside. It looks like Safarifin can make that car work around the outside of turn 1, which is absolutely fantastic stuff. The cars getting closer and closer together. It looks inevitable that Safarifin will be able to try and get back into the lead. Between Saiful and Farid, there's only 1/10 of a second. You can see barely 3 feet between two cars. Now coming into the top hairpin, it opens up wide here, and again Farid tries that bulking maneuver again, but it looks like Safarifin has the draft. He's able to get past. They're now side by side coming down the hill. Will Farid be able to outbrake Safarifin? Will there be a chance? Now Saiful has to defend, and they're now going side by side through the corner. No, he managed to Farid manages to keep the lead from Safarifin. This is absolutely fantastic racing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these cars cannot be separated by anything. In the meantime, we see Wicket Low trying his hardest to get on terms with Kelvinder. They are fighting for the final podium positions. And it looks like Wicket is about 7/10 behind, so he's going to really have to push the car coming out of these series of corners. The real key to trying to make an overtaking maneuver work around here is to be quick through this section or quick through the first sector. So it's really between the last sector and the first sector where you can actually get the drive off the corner and get onto the main straight quicker. It looks like Dominic Ang has one less thing to worry about as Colin Chair goes into the pits. We're now going to start seeing all these guys shake out. Freddie Ang, unfortunate debut for him. He's got a little bit of panel damage, and it looks like this race is definitely turning out that this race is definitely being decided on the drafting overtakes, so that aero damage won't be helping Freddie that much at all. Aslam Manap in 25th position. He's trying to line up a pass with Farizal. Ruben is quite a ways ahead, but now it's half a second between Aslan and Farizal. Will he be able to make it through the drive through there? Looks like Freddie Yang has managed to get past Ezan, who I believe has gone into the pits, and Jai spun. Jai had a big spun. That's a big shunt from Afizel Jai, and oh, another big accident there. It looks like someone else had run into the back of him after Jai came back on the track, and there was just nowhere left to go for that second car, and looks like both cars are out and back into the pits. Meantime, Sami Aizan is pushing as hard as he can to try and get to the back of Taufik's car. We have a car running off wide in the back corner there. It's absolutely fantastic action all the way up and down the field right now at the moment. So between Shamil and Taufik, there's only half a second. This can be close enough to make an overtake work down the main straight. Meantime, speaking of overtaking, they are still battling out in the front. Farid and Saiful are still neck and neck. They are pushing themselves as hard as they can. Only 0.3 of a second between the two of them. You can see barely enough space to fit another Mazda in between those two cars. Barely a car length in between them. It looks like Safarifin is gaining and gaining through to Amir Faridyan. We have another overtaking maneuver there. Shamir finally finds his way past Taufik and gets into 7th position. That's going to be very welcome. Some extra points there for Shamir Aizan. And now he's going to try and put his foot down, and if he can, try and chase Dominic and further up the road. But it looks like Taufik isn't going to let him go away that easy. Coming up into the top straight there, and Taufik Tahir, member of that Padawan racing team. Now we're going to try and see if despite the damage, he should be able to pick up some sort of a tow coming into that top corner. Really having to lay on the brakes to try and get the car turned in through there. And it looks like Taufik is quicker in the slower sections and fast and slower in the high-speed sections. Meanwhile, Mohammed Zafri is getting closer and closer to Azli Nazri. So between Zafri and Azli, there's only 0.7 of a second. Will Zafri, aka Ajed, be able to make that drafting maneuver work at the top straight? They have another car up ahead, Faiz, who is also very close to being in the strike zone for these two drivers. So we've got a Padawan car followed by an FCR car and a Toyota racing car as well, so it's going to be very tight up at that end of the field. Meanwhile, Taufik and Ilham are still battling out. It looks like Ilham has the pace. He's got new tyres. We know he's got the fuel to drive to the end, so for Ilham Halabi it's going to be maximum attack to try and get to the front of the field. And it looks like Kelvinda has managed to get into the 3rd place. Or the timing screens there have just had a bit of a brain fart, but it looks like Saiful Arifin has got himself into the pits. And is that damage on his car?
I think he just went for refuel.
Alright, so Kelvinda Singh now moves up to 3rd due to that. I don't think Kelvinda has yet to pit, and I don't think Farid has yet to pit as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see where they come out in the field. Yes, the top 5 drivers have yet to pit, except for Saiful Arifin. He's going to try and go for the undercut to Faridyan. Meanwhile, Kelvinda is in 3rd position. He'll be thinking of pit stop strategy as well. I don't think anybody will be able to, with the pace that the race is running at, I don't think anybody will be able to make it of the front runners. Yep, Kelvinda Singh has to pull in. And there he goes out into the front. It looks like there's some missing body panels on Saiful Arifin's car.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's a glitch in the pit box or what, but it's very curious indeed. I'm pretty sure that his car was doing okay, but he's still stuck there in the pits.
Oh, what happened?
Well, that's what I was saying. There was some bodywork damage on the car. I think he might have had an incident there, but it looks like...
If you have a look at lap 21, he did lose control of his car and went straight into the wall.
Oh, lap 21,
Yeah.
Let me see.
But it looks like he's got some engine damage as well. It might be game over.
We'll get back to that. And let's go to the race leader first.
Yeah, but that's big dramas at the front of the field there, and Amir Faridyan has managed to get himself into the lead, followed by Ilham Halabi 24 seconds behind. Now look at that, Ilham Halabi has managed to play the tactical game perfectly. He is now in a comfortable position. He's 5 seconds ahead of Kelvinda and 24 seconds behind Farid, so it's all down to whether Amir Faridyan can get a quick enough pit stop to go into the pits and out. It looks like he won't be able to gain that much time and try and extend the gap that much further. Faiz Aslan there trying to go for an overtaking maneuver on Azli. Asli Dali there, defending as much as he can. You can see it from the rear view camera there. It looks like Faiz is gaining on him slowly but surely. It looks like we'll see them getting very close to each other on the top straight. And it looks like Faiz has got the car set up quite nicely for that top hairpin. Now they come down the hill, and we'll see if Faiz has enough speed in that number 420 Pad 1 racing car to try and pull out and make the overtaking maneuver work. It looks like he's still a little bit too far away. And there's still a half a second gap between the two cars, so it looks like Faiz is going to really have to push very hard to try and get past Asli Dali. Asli will be pushing himself as hard as he can. He's in the 14th position, and he'd like to keep it that way at the very least. It looks like Ruben Wong has also dropped down the order a little bit. Saiful Arifin, I think he's come out in 19th position. So we're going to go and look at what happened to Saiful Arifin. Ooh.
There he is.
Yeah, he's gone right off the track there. The S's coming up to the field. You can just about see him on the top of the car. Oh, he's clipped a car that was trying to re-enter the track, or was otherwise driving slowly. And unfortunately, he was just got caught up and got spat into the wall, it looks like. Again, we're going to have to review that in order to confirm what happened.
I'll just rewind it back.
And we're going to see, oh yes, so there was another car up ahead who has gone off and has re-entered. Unsafe re-entry, and that was a big hit. And Saiful Arifin's car straight into the wall, and it looks like he's out of the race there. That looks like engine damage.
He's back on track.
He's back.
With 3 minutes to go.
Yeah. I forgot about fast repairs, but it looks like
Ilham has passed Kelvinder.
Yes, Ilham has passed Kelvinder, and it looks like Amir Faridyan had to go into the pits. He did not have enough time in hand in order to make the strategy work, and it looks like Ilham has managed to get enough time in hand to get that lead. He's been playing the tactical game all the way up through the field, and it looks like taking that early pit stop and running longer and running longer and heavier has managed to pay dividends for him. With only almost 2 minutes to go, it looks like Ilham is in the lead, followed by Kelvinder Singh 7 seconds behind, and Amir Azam another 7 seconds behind there. The top three look to be pretty much set. Meanwhile, Amir Faridyan is going to be pushing as hard as he can to try and get past Wicket Low, and try and gain as much positions as he can to get FCR's hopes to keep the championship lead, as well as Amir's own Drivers' Championship standings, to try and get as much points as he can. But that was very unfortunate for both Amir Farid and Saiful Arifin. One taken out due to accidents, and a bit of a tactical blunder from Amir Faridyan. But it looks like Ilham Halabi has managed to outfox the field and get himself into first position. This is absolutely spectacular stuff. Saiful Arifin there now trying to carve his way through the field. He will have that right foot welded to the floor, pushing as hard as he can. Meanwhile, this battle here, Freddie Ang with Faiz and Asli up ahead. That's Rydell directly up ahead. So he'll be pulling across to try and let the lap cars pass. Freddie Young will try and get a toe off the back marker car in order to try and get a little bit closer to the two cars ahead of him. And it looks like he won't be able to close up enough to overtake Rashid Rydell, but neither did the car in front, so the traffic playing a really big part in the late stage of this race. I believe we might only have time for one last lap. We're now at lap 25. Ilham Halabi is leading the race from Kelvinder, and Razam Wicket is in 4th position at the moment, but he's under massive pressure from this man, Amir Faridyan, who started off in 4th position, managed to have a fantastic start, was fighting for the lead all throughout the race, and unfortunately Just lost out on the pit stops there, but he'll be pushing as hard as he can to try and get himself into a better position. But meanwhile, that man there, Ilham Halabi, is your leader, being escorted home by one of the Toyota cars. The privateer doing very well for himself in the series so far, and it looks like this is going to give him a huge boost to his championship aspirations. And also to Kelvinda as well, a massive boost for him in his championship ropes. He's now 10 seconds behind. It looks like he's backed off just to try and maintain the pace and be very close to it. And Ahmed Faridian is going side by side. They touch. Third wicket touch, but it looks like to be just a side-by-side incident. Just a little bit too close for comfort there, but they're both still racing and they're both still pushing as hard as they can. Wicket on the grass. This is going to be an opportunity for Ahmed Faridian to try and overtake and get into the lead, but in the meantime it looks to be that Ilham Halabi is going to go across the line and win round 2 of the Adrenaline Impact iRacing Malaysia Championship here at Okayama Speedway. And look at that, he couldn't be happier, throwing the car around in glee. Kelvinder Singh is 11 seconds behind. He's going to come across the line, and it looks like there's damage on one of the cars up the road there, but Kelvinder Singh manages to get into second position. Ahmad Nurazam finishes in third, and it looks like Wicket will be able to come across the line in fourth, followed very closely behind by Farid. 7 seconds behind that will be Nigel Chua, and you can see the smoking car, one of the SSAD cars smoking away there. Shami Aizan has managed to finish in 10th position, followed by Jason Jali. So your top 10: Ilham, Kelvinder, Nurazam, Moikit, Farid, Nigel, Khalif, Dominic Ang, Colin Cha, and Shamer. Whew. That was action-packed all the way from the start to the finish. Amazing racing, some absolutely spectacular incidents, and we see there Saifur Arifin is going to be ruining that incident that probably cost him the race there. Ruben Wong manages to bring the car home in 17th position. Aslan manages to cross the line in 18th, and Freddie Ang brings one of the URT cars home in 19th position. We still have a battle coming up to the line. It looks like Zafri has managed to get past Azrael. They're both going to go and fight all the way to the end of the race there, and it looks like Zafri has managed to get right in front there, and it looks like Zafri has won the battle between Zafri and Azrael. A little bit of weaving through there, trying to break the toe, but it looks like they managed to get away with it. And Eka Siabirin has finished in 21st position, and it looks like Tukuezan is the final car out on track. Donzel, I do apologize, and he's gone across the line, so now everybody's going to line up, and good grief. Firdaus Yahya saying Wreckfest. It is compared to the previous one, in the sense that we had a fantastically clean race in the first round. Ahmad Azizul wreck. Muhammad Budi rapat-rapat ni sekali gila. Kutip Sayo. There's a lot of Nigel fans out there. Eka, king of Kutip Sayo. Ahmad Azizul, not bad. Nigel, yes, he's definitely improved quite a lot there.
Okay, can you go through the results? Can you see?
Yes, we're just going to have a quick look at the race results. Ilham Halabi has won the race by 12 seconds from Kelvinder Singh, with Ahmad Nurazam in third position. So that's two privateers at the front, with the Outer House FCR performance car, Ahmad Nurazam, in third position. That's going to be a big deal for Outer House. They keep it gives them a chance to keep their lead. Amir Faridian also helping in fourth position, so those two cars definitely helping out in the points tally, followed by the two Speed Tavern cars in 5th and 6th, Nigel Chua and Mohamed Khalif, followed by Dominic Ang, Colin Chia, Shami Aizan, Jason Jali, Eddie Adrian, Asli Dali, Wicket Low, Faiz Aslan, Saifur Arifin, who unfortunately just had that incident at the dying stages of the race that cost him the race, Faisal Akmal, Ruben Wong in the other URT car, and Aslan Manap, 18th position in the Padawan SRC machine. As you can see, all the cars lining up there in the back. We have Wicket Low in 13th, Mohammad Zafri in 19th position, followed by Azrael Nazri, Ika Shabirin, Freddie Ang, Zaino Hazim, Sopian Said, Taufik Tayer, Sharil Norafuddin, Adi Rahimi Rashid, and Tunku Ezan Leh, followed by Javier Alvarez, Hanuzul Ezam, Muhammad Zikri, Fazril Nizam, Jasri Junos, Nazmi Mazli, Calvin Ha, who unfortunately got caught up in that, one of the cars who got caught up in that first lap incident, Rashid Razel, Danzel Abdullah, and Azam Azni. And finally, we have Faiza Alang, Afizul Jai, Michael Hafiz, Andre Ambadar, Kelvin T, and Azman Abdullah bringing up the back there. It's been action-packed all the way up and down the field. And, wow. Rehan, what do you reckon about the race?
Well, I think what's most important is that everyone had fun this race. We've seen so many exciting battles at different points of the field. In fact, what was so amazing was that battles happened all throughout the field instead of just up in front. It's always nice to see something like that. Although I would imagine that racing standards might have to be actively reviewed over the next couple of races. I do think that there's ground to work on, but otherwise I think it had been just a fantastic event.
Yeah, it's absolutely been action-packed from the start to the finish. These MX5 cars tend to lend themselves quite well to close racing, it seems. But yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement, but that's what we do. As I like to say, the day you stop learning is the day you stop racing. So, for sure, there's room for improvement, but so far, absolutely fantastic, action-packed round 2 from Okayama. And so, we see all the cars there having their pictures taken. That is our race winner Ilham Halabi. He had a fantastic pit strategy, pitting much earlier than the rest of the crew and trying to make up the time there. It's a high-risk strategy, but he managed to make that work. But it's definitely very interesting to see what is generally considered to be sprint racing cars with this longer format. And now, of course, after the ceremonial photo, we're going to have a whole bunch of Mazda engines about to blow up in a series of burnouts.
Okay. Weihan, did you have any observations, or do you want for me to rewind back to see anything?
I think that the one incident that took Saiful out, I think that must have been quite an incident that's going to be quite gutted for Saiful, considering that he was fighting up top for the lead, only for it to be taken away at that point in the race. But I'm sure he's going to reel from it and perhaps try again the next race.
Yeah, this was very unfortunate.
We're just gonna take...
Who did he hit? Oh.
So he was very close to Amir Faridian, and just off the track.
Yeah, I cannot rewind.
That's all right.
Okay, it's okay.
But from what I saw on the live replay, there was a car that was rejoining onto the track, and I'm guessing the car that was rejoining the track thought he had a gap in the traffic. Unfortunately, Saiful Arifin was coming around the corner. It's a little bit tricky to spot your way through there. Mm-hmm. And it was just a small clip, which in and of itself would not have damaged the car too much, but it shifted the car's weight around and sent the car into the wall, which caused most of the damage.
Let's review from the start.
So we have Jasri Junos. The start was a little bit chaotic, especially here at the second corner there. We see one of the Padawan cars bouncing off the Speed Tavern car and into a real chain reaction there. I mean, from your point of view, Weihan, do you think there was anything that they should have done to try and avoid that?
Well, I would have to have a better perspective of things. So let me just kind of approach it from my end so I can have a good view.
Yeah.
Can you take over my camera? Is it possible to take over my camera from
I think I'm not connected at this point, so
okay, it's okay.
But I think it's enough for everyone to see. I think it's a matter of I guess if drivers were to take a different approach to this, the one different approach they could take would be to perhaps, to slow down their car way before being within attacking distance of the incident. So if you kind of see that cars in front are spinning, if you see smoke happening instantly, you have to reduce your speed at that point so that you don't even come within the range of being tangled up in front. So you see at this point, this very point where those two cars bunched up, for the green car, it was I think it was unfortunate for him as he was he didn't exactly see it coming. But for various cars that were behind, if you have time to respond, make your first response. Something to perhaps you slow your car down. Yeah. Let that be your first response.
Well, but it looks as well like there were a lot of fairly over-ambitious driving coming out of the first corner, and it looked to be.
Yeah, I think it's Ika.
It looked to be one of those situations where that many Mazda MX5s just don't fit on that piece of track. So at that position, you really have to watch out for incidents happening ahead. And it looked like it was the Todak and the Padawan car that got together that started it. Nazmi Mazli.
Okay, Michael's on his right.
Yep.
I think he lost control of his car, or maybe he was trying to. He got hit by Kelvin Ha.
Yeah.
Thanks to slow-mo, can see this.
Yeah.
But then I think we leave that to Weihan to give his thoughts. Did you see that, Weihan?
I am trying to identify this incident.
Okay, I got the source of the first crash. You can see here, Mazli. Okay, I think we're going to shift to Kelvin Ha. Where's my... Okay.
Yep.
Kelvin Ha.
You got it. No, you had it just now.
Oh, okay. What lap is this? This is already passed, huh? Okay.
Yeah, this is past. You're looking for, I think, car number 778.
Yeah, Kelvin Ha.
This is not Kelvin Ha's car.
Yeah, wait. I'm trying to find.
It was the previous one.
Is there a specific lap?
Yeah. Kelvin Ha. Wait, try to find 778 Kelvin Ha. Okay, he was
there
here.
There we go. Yep.
Hello guys.
Hi, my child. What happened? Terbalik aku tengok kau.
You all dah review belum aku punya video?
Tengah tengok
ni.
Review.
Macin betul-betul lari pace kali ni Macin.
Tak, aku memang starting belakang. Aku tengok belakang tak kena. Di belakang pun kena lembu.
Belakang super lembu tapi expected lah sebab track licin sebenarnya. Nanti forward starting.
Licin, maknanya dia kena beware lah tak throttle tu kan. Aku punyalah masuk turn 1 tu punya slow tak nak bagi ni. Kali aku kena pimpong 5 kali sampai terbalik.
Sampai terbalik dan kita sampai 15 point kan.
Penalti belah tu lepas tu lah kan. Mental dah down memang.
So betul be safe kan kita juga boleh pakai juga.
Ataupun pit lane start lah. Just start from the pit lane.
Kelvin Ha.
Yeah.
Dia tap ni siapa ni?
Apa Padawan nombor 300 tu?
Dia tap bukan ni.
Susah juga nak identify siapa salah sebab masalah apa ni? Masalah.
This all during lap 1, right?
Yeah, this is all during lap 1.
Turn 1, turn 2 I think.
Yeah, between turn 1 and turn 2, this was the incident that had Michael on his roof.
Aku kat kanan.
Oh, nampak the left car masuk line Padawan.
Yeah.
Then Padawan start the chain reaction.
Yeah.
Nak tengok stun.
Wow, rabak lah this one. Terrible.
Yeah.
Okey, kena belakang bontot kena, tepi kena. Okey, lepas tu langgar tepi pula.
Faizal
Bam.
Alam.
Okey,
Lembu.
lepas tu satu pula kena.
Terbalik.
Wah.
Lagi sekali.
Ayo.
Rakam benda ni.
Memang nak
Aku nak bawa ke,
rakam.
aku bawa ke FIA.
Kita ada Weihan tonight, guys. We got Weihan from Singapore to help on
Hi.
steward.
Hello, hi.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
we had.
hey, Saiful, is that you?
Yeah.
Hi, awesome. No, but the truth is, Kyrul and Max have been carrying all night long. For me, I was just like looking around the field, and I actually have the yellow, right? I had the yellow in the chat. I was about to, I really wanted to trigger a yellow flag, but I just think, should I yellow or not? But because if I yellow, right, everyone will punch out together, then Langa will start again. So I decided not to.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Quite a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, right? Single FCY.
Basically, it's a 3-lap full course.
Yeah.
So,
2 laps for single file.
So the incident mostly happened at lap 1.
yeah.
T1. Yeah. Okayama.
So, Kyrul, I need some guidance here, right? So, the next time if we do something like that, right? What would be the grounds for a yellow flag? Like, because what I understand is usually the practice I do is, if the crash is so bad until the whole track is blocked up, nobody can pass. That's usually when we would think yellow flag would be rolled up. But I think tonight, even though there were crashes, I just didn't see how a yellow flag might help. Because cars could still pass, cars could still carry on racing. So if a yellow flag, right, then everyone else is like not fair to everyone.
Yeah, I think the logic is sound there, personally, simply because when you do have a full course yellow, you do end up bunching the cars, and the incident was caused by too many cars in a too small a track space. So you get into the situation where it may not have been beneficial to bunch the field up again.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good call.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think if more than 6 cars, and if the car is blocking the road, the track, then I think we should throw the yellow flag full course.
Okay.
I think that's just an idea.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's really fair, because the thing is standing start itself is more dangerous than rolling start. So
Yeah.
I think that could be one of the problems. But because the thing is, for most of the race, I was just looking at incidents. I didn't know what was the course of action today. So, Kyrul, do you know if what would you actually do? Would you like text them, give them warning, or would you impose like incident under review, something like that?
Okay.
Yes,
What we would do is we'll be reviewing after this, right after this stream, and we have a window for protest in half an hour.
Okay.
So if some things that obvious things that neglect, we'll do the deductions of the safety points manually, and we'll notify the participants. And if others were to file a protest, we'll be reviewing it by 24 hours and make a decision there.
I see. So with your live timing, your SDK live timing, there's actually an incident record that you can actually, the events log, you can actually export it to Excel sheet.
I just click the record event, or what? I'm totally confused about that part.
Right.
Should I have clicked before the event, or just I think
Crap.
yeah,
It's missing now, right? It's empty now, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
the
that's the
record
problem,
event.
because-
Yeah, it's okay. But did you happen to record the first?
Well, look, unfortunately I didn't save it, but usually what you can do, right, is when all those like green, white, and red stuff, all the text come out on the record event thing, right? You just drag everything. That means you select everything. You open up Excel, then you paste, and everything will come out. Yeah, you can actually just copy paste to your Excel as CSV. Yeah.
Okay, that should have been done before the event.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I think
It's
that's
okay. But we'll just
Right.
review it by because I will be recording the replay. I'll be saving the
Okay.
replay so we can review it. The most parts that's quite obvious, and same time we'll be waiting for the protest. Please, guys, if you are seriously want to protest, please follow the steps that we got in the supply document in the WhatsApp group. If you're not familiar where, it's also in the Adrenaline Impact E-Championship group on Facebook. Okay. So guys, Michael macam mana? Perasaan
Macam mana?
Macam mana tadi? Rasa dapat masuk pun tapi dilembu kan?
Aku okey, lepas masuk pun dah kira okey. Tak ada bajet untuk apa-apa, tak ada harapan apa-apa pun malam ni, tapi harapkan dapat clean, boleh duduk sama lap dengan diorang lah. Tapi dah jadi dekat turn 1 dah terbalik 2 minit towing campur repair apa semua, memang dah berlap-lap tinggal. Lepas tu memang kita dah duduk belakang, terpaksalah semua yang lalu semua akan blue flag kan.
Okay, Weihan, from what we've reviewed for this first turn, Calvin Ha, is it incidental or is it what do you see there?
Okay, let me have right, back to that same thing.
Okay.
I think it's lack of awareness on Calvin's part, because I think if you're in Calvin's position, is this all live? Is it still live?
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
You can share this as
As advice for the
Sure.
Calvin.
So I think it's all about awareness. I think from Calvin's position, if we have we get a good view here. This is the far chase view. By this time, the spotter might have already sounded, might or might not have sounded to him. But I think when a spotter sounds to you, you've got your 3 white 2 inside of you. This is where you should keep towards the left. You should keep the left line, which I think if you have a look at, he deviated from his left side line. And as he went inside, he initiated a chain reaction of the 2 other cars inside coming into contact with each other. And I think what he could do differently would be to just keep his left line throughout the corner. Keep an eye on your mirror, keep an eye on your F3 relative on top of looking on the track.
Okay, so that's quite good advice from Weihan. So I think I've started to get some messages come. So okay, been good, very good time here with you, Weihan, and thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Observation. We hope to have you again.
Thank you, Yan.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thank you.
Takeaways on there, just with a comment in the comment section down below. Good job, guys. Thanks a lot to Weihan. You've been a great help to the whole process so far. Hopefully we'll be able to have you for future events, help out Paducah, and hopefully try and make this series as good as it can be. And
anything you want to wish the Malaysian guys here, Weihan?
Yeah, well, look, I think it's just so amazing. I've really ever since I think when Adrenaline put up this series, I've just been really excited to really figure out to learn what this series is about. And I think the fact that it's become such a big series, especially in this region, I think it's always exciting. It's always something that I look forward to. I think it does a lot in getting people racing together in this region. Given this point of time, real life racing is difficult, and also the fact that traditionally iRacing within this region would have been not so popular. I think with this series, it will definitely help get some popularity up. Bring the community together, and I just hope that this can carry on for as long as it does.
Yeah, we hope so too. Yeah, so this is round 2. So we're going for full season of 6 weeks, and we're gonna have a break for 1 week, and we're gonna go ahead with season 2. So all be surprises there in season 2. We'll be trying something out, and maybe some difference in format, and I will share with you details. Weihan, so you're you're free to talk again tonight, or you have somewhere to go?
Yeah, I think I should still have a few moments, but I would have to leave right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to be around for.
Yeah. So that's your advice. Thank you very much for your input, and we look forward for you to join us again. And we also will be covering maybe these SRE guys will be joining the Spa 24 hours soon. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so fantastic! Great, all the best to guys running the
Yeah.
Spa 24. It's a big event.
If you're free at those dates, we'll be welcome you to commentate. Like we
Yeah,
did.
11th of July.
Yeah, 11th of July is quite near already.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's if I'm not doing the official one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we just did the coverage of SRE team A and B for Le Mans. It's quite good experience for us to just to cover them, not full 24 hours, but in the starting midway and the finishing, they all finished well, 13 and 16 in class. I think it's team B was 15 due to this first guy who
Oh yeah, the guy who won the class in the split was All Alone Racing, who I believe has done this before.
Right.
he drove alone.
Yeah,
Oh,
when they said All Alone Racing, I was expecting one guy to take over for a lap just to make it so that he doesn't disqualify himself, but somehow he managed to run at the front for a long time. I don't know if he won or not, but he unfortunately did get disqualified for not having a co-driver.
Right. Yeah.
I think they
Wow,
should-
that's crazy, man. That's super.
I mean, they should really just give him a trophy. I mean,
Yeah, man. But I guess in the spirit of endurance racing, the whole idea of endurance racing is that you have someone else alongside you. This
Yeah.
whole team element. So I think that there are grounds for that.
yeah.
Okay.
And also,
So anything from you, Matt?
yeah, all I have to say now before we sign off is very special thanks to our special guest Chan Wei Han. Thanks for a lot for your help throughout this round. Special thanks as well to Carol Alang and to our sponsors: Stream.my, Simology, Pico Media, Sim Racing Enthusiasts, Todak Motorsports, Interformula, and C-Zone. Thanks to all the guys down there who have been commenting away. Do leave us a like and, if you will, share the stream once it gets finished and sorted out. And special thanks to everyone who decided to join us in the broadcast room at the end of the race. Thanks for your input, guys.
So
Bye.
so it's now already 11:30 plus. We could still be receiving any protest. By please follow the steps that we provided in the WhatsApp group, and for us to easily help you out with the protest. We hope there are minimal protests, and this will be maybe a reminder to the other guys how to be aware of. Azriel, he has lots of things to say on awareness, so
Yes.
maybe we'll have a talk, have him to have a talk during. And today I think I missed something. Paduka wasn't around, so he usually does the briefing before qualifying, before race, before grid, before qualifying, kan?
During
During
qualifying.
practice.
qualifying,
During qualifying, sorry.
Yeah, so we missed that today. I hope the guys still remember what he said.
But-
Alright, so this will be it. Will be loads of table work after this. Thank you very much, Chan Wei Han and Matthew Palmer. And I'm Cairo Alang. We'll announce all the final results and any deductions for safety points, and also tally up the championship for round 2. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Uh,
Tara.
Thanks for hosting.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt from Interformula, and welcome to our Research and Development Centre. We do all forms of research and development, all the way from designing and developing our own race cars, to simulators, to running cars in racing series and rallying all over the world. We also do a lot in the Asian Classic Car Championship, so do look out for us. For any information, do contact us with the number down below.